Now we're going to use that some more, so we'll get a little more practice at that on these last three. The last three, again, want us to find the equation of the circle, but now it's going to give you the endpoints, not the center. So if they give you the endpoints, you have to find the center by finding the midpoint of the circle, right? The center's halfway between the two ends. So when we found the midpoint, we said x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So here's our x1 and our y1. Here's our x2 and our y2. So x1 is 0, x2 is 3. 0 plus 3 divided by 2. Well, 0 plus 3 is 3, so I'm going to have 3 over 2. Then I'm going to do my y's. Whoops, y1 plus y2. I left my 2 off there. y1 is 4, y2 is 6. So 4 plus 6 divided by 2. 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 divided by 2 would give me 5, right? So now I know that my center is at 3/2 and 5. Now I'm going to do the problem like I did these previous ones. So I'm going to have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And I'm going to put in the 3/2 here for the h and the 5 in for the k, right? And so I have x minus 3/2 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals r squared. Now I still need to find my r squared. I can use either of those 2 points. It doesn't matter which one you use. You can either use the 0, 4 or the 3, 6. Which one would you prefer?
Which one's easier?
Probably the 0, 4.
Okay.
Just because 0 is easier to do. So 0 minus 3/2 would be a minus 3/2, but then we have to square that, right? So a negative 3/2 times a negative 3/2 is going to be a positive 9 over 4. Right? 3 times 3 is 9 and 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 4 minus 5. 4 minus 5 is negative 1, and we can do negative 1 squared. We did that before. We got a positive 1. Right? So now you're going to use your calculator and add 9/4 plus 1. 13/4. Okay, that's going to be your end number on your equation. Now keep in mind when you write the equation, you're putting it in here just without those numbers we substituted in. So we're going to have x minus 3/2 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals our 13/4. All right, so number 14, find the equation of the circle whose diameter has the ends 5, -1, and -6, -2. First thing we're going to do is find where that center is by finding the midpoint. So if I'm going to find my midpoint, I'm going to add my x's and divide by 2, add my y's and divide by 2. So what should I do?
You want to put the formula down first?
Sure. x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So what number should I plug into my formula?
Okay, on the endpoints. Is it gonna be -6?
Okay,
Endpoints and 2?
no,
No?
because you're adding your x1 and your x2. What number is your
okay,
x1?
So it's gonna be, x1, y1, x2, y2. So x1 is gonna be 5.
Yep. 5 plus
5 plus -6.
-6. 5 plus a -6 is going to give me
1, -1.
-1. So we're going to get -1 over 2, right?
Yep.
So -1/2. Okay, now we got to do our y's.
The y is going to be -1. And plus 2.
Okay? And a -1 plus a 2 gives me
1.
1/2 now. So now, this time my center has 2 fractions. My center is at -1/2, +1/2. So now I can go to my equation. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And we're going to plug in our -1/2 and our +1/2, right? So then what do I get?
Then you're going to get x minus a half squared.
Now instead of x minus a half on this first one,
Oh, yes. it's gonna
you
be
have
plus.
minus a negative, I got to change it to a plus. So x plus 1/2 squared. And then the y is going to be minus a half squared equals our r squared, right? So just remember when in the center it's negative, it comes positive when we do our circle. Because we get minus a negative. Now we're going to pick one of those 2 points to plug in. I'd probably pick the 5 and the -1 just because my numbers are a little smaller. So I'm going to put a 5 here and a -1 here, and since I've got fractions, I'll probably have to use my calculator. So 5 plus 1/2.
5 plus 1/2. 5 1/2?
5 1/2 as an improper fraction then.
5 plus 1 equals 11 seconds.
11 over 2, and then we got to square that, right? So if we square 11 over 2,
2 squared. Geez, 121.
over 4, yep,
Yep.
because 11 squared is 121 and 2 squared is 4. In the second set of parentheses, we got to do -1 minus a half.
-3 over 2.
-3 over 2, and when we square that, we get plus 9/4, right? So now we have to do our 121 over 4 plus our 9 over 4.
Sixty-five over 2.
65 over 2. So 65 over 2 becomes our r squared number. We now can write the equation of our circle. What's the equation of our circle going to be?
told me it was blank here. Oh, okay, we're going to go x plus 121 over.
Whoops. Nope.
Was that 112?
Nope.
What happened?
X plus, which number do we use in there?
X plus, oh, negative half.
Not negative a half, positive.
Positive.
X plus a half
Plus a half.
squared
X plus a half.
plus
Plus y. Plus a half. Minus a half.
minus a half squared equals
65.
65 over 2. So you go back to this equation here before we plugged our numbers in, so that you have the opposite of this and the opposite of that, right, on your center. Because that's where those numbers really came from, was from your center. This is a minus 1/2, you had a plus 1/2, and if you had a plus 1/2, you had a minus 1/2. All right, one more. So, we want to find the equation of the circle. The diameter has the endpoints 4, 1, and 0, -2. We're going to start by finding our center. How are we going to do that?
We are going to go, let me mark these x1. x1, 1, 2, 2, so we're going to go 4 plus 0.
Yep.
Over 2, and then 1 minus 2 over 2. Oops,
So simplifying those.
4. Just 4, right? You want me to put the 0 there?
4, no, well, you're going to add 4 plus 0 is 4.
Yeah.
So 4 over 2,
Oh yeah, 4 over 2.
and 4 over 2 is just
2.
2. And then on the other one,
1 minus, we need negative 1.
1 over
2.
2, which is just -1/2 then, right? So our center is at 2 and -1/2. And so now we have to write the equation of our circle. So we're going to plug in
4 and 1? Oh, 4 and 0. Oh, 2.
2 and
Oh, yeah.
-1/2 before we get to those ones.
Okay, that.
So we're going to have what?
X minus 2 squared
It's -2 squared plus,
plus y minus a half.
what's your sign going to be?
Oh, I mean plus a half.
Because we had minus a negative, right? So it's got to be a plus. Y plus 1/2 squared. And now we can plug in our numbers to find our r squared. Which pair do you want to use?
We'll use 4 and 1.
4 and 1. Okay. So 4 minus 2,
Minus 2 is 2.
and 2 squared then is
4.
4. Then over on the other one, we got to do 3 plus a half. Or 3 plus a half. 1 plus a half. I'm adding in my head already. 1 plus a half.
1.5 squared.
1.5, which 1.5 as an improper fraction is
0.5.
1
Oh,
and a
1 and a
half.
half?
1.5 is an
Oh.
improper fraction.
So that's gonna be
right? 3 halves, right? 3 over 2 is what 1 1/2 is. So if I take 3 halves and square it, I would get
Plus 9/4.
9/4. So now we have to do 4 plus 9/4.
4 plus 9/4. 25/4.
25/4. So now that we found our square, now we have to write the equation of our circle.
It's going to be x plus 2.
Whoops.
Isn't that a 2?
It is a 2, but what's your sign?
Oh, minus 2.
X
Oh,
minus 2 squared
X minus 2 squared
plus
plus y plus half squared.
right equals my
Equals
25/4. So if my center is at 2 and negative 1/2, then I got a minus 2 and a plus 1/2. All right. We'll take about a 10-minute break since we got started late. And we're, only 4 weeks or so behind.